listen to the sound.
So I'm Lisa, and
And it was so lovely.
I have
We
a
were
couple
in
of
this
fun
little
stories, and
Stream, and there was
and
a
then
chorus.
but I'm going
like
to
in
start
the
with
stream.
a
We looked at
heartwarming
it.
story first. So
Maybe
most
about
recently, I had a very scary accident.
we were not eating.
And in the first few days after that accident, there's not much I remember, except I do remember John's face. This accident happened last December. 3 of my limbs were badly broken, and I had to have 5 surgeries in 8 days. And there weren't many things I remember from the first 3 days, but I remember in particular John sitting at my bedside. He showed up very quickly after he found out, and he came back to the hospital a couple of times, and I just remember that look on his face of deep and resolute care and compassion and a bit of desperation, because the situation was so significant and so severe, and that sense of that look on a person's face. And I remember seeing John just looking and saying, you have to beat this. And that was one of the few faces I remember in those early days. But to tell you a couple of fun stories. So for those of you who don't know, John and I married twice. So we had twice as many spicy moments as other families who don't stay married. And so I'll just say that, like, let's just acknowledge John and I had plenty of spicy moments, but I'm going to tell you a couple of moments. So John was the volunteer coordinator for Amanaka, and I was a volunteer, so he coordinated me. And as volunteer coordinator, we had to go out to plan events at restaurants that served bouillabaisse. And we had to go to art openings to meet potential other benefactors. So I was all over Soho and going to these incredible restaurants, and then John was trying, I now know, of course then I was resisting. So John was trying to woo me, and I was like, okay, it's for the work, it's for the work, it's for the work. So my sister was a couple of years behind me, and she was a senior in college. And Columbus Day weekend, Tina came to New York for the weekend, and we went out to breakfast, and John had been badgering me for weeks. You have to come to Bonaire with me, you have to come to Bonaire with me. I was like, we're not doing anything for the Amazon in Bonaire. No. And so John was very smart as well as very smooth. And we're sitting at breakfast in some diner in Brooklyn, and my sister's visiting, and John's like, hey, did Lisa tell you we're going down to Bonaire in January? And I looked at John and I was like, I am not going anywhere with you. And my sister Tina looked at me and said, well, you're crazy. And so she's like, you need to go to Bonaire. And so I guess that was kind of the moment where the pivot happened, where, you know, John coordinating me as a volunteer sort of to pivot around to John coordinating us having a couple of kids together. So there you go.